The death of Whitney Houston last week reminded us all of just how much her art and life affected us. Today we have gathered three divas who knew her well. Actress Sheryl Lee Ralph, TV personality Rolanda Watts, and R&B legend Deniece Williams. Folks, all welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Clearly it was stunning to see that news flash across the screen that Whitney Houston had passed away. I mean, you talk about the 80s and the 90s and just dominating. Yes. For each of you, what was it like to hear that news, but also to remember the kind of woman that she was?
You know, for me it was, I'm sure it was the same for all of you. I was like, literally, right away, it was like somebody in my family had passed away. They died, and I remember having to hold on to the person when they said that, because it just hit me so hard, even though maybe over the years we thought that might happen, just wasn't prepared. And my mind immediately went back to the first time I saw her. She was singing in a club, if you remember. You remember that?
There.
Yes.
And with their mother.
Yes.
And she had a teeny weeny afro.
She had that little
and a little cotton dress.
How old was she?
She was 19.
She was 19
at the time. She was 19, and we were doing Dreamgirls on Broadway.
And I was a news reporter, and I ran up to her after this performance, and because they sang "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" and all those songs, between a mother and a daughter, and you've never seen a love song sung that way. And I said, I got to do a story on you guys, and they were like, well, be on TV, and I was like, yes. And do you know, I begged my news director to give me a crew, and he was like, Whitney who?
Yeah.
Well, he paid. He regretted that.
Sorry about that.
But she used to always, when she would see me, she'd always say, "You knew. You were the first to know."
You know, I grew up listening to her mom, Sissy Houston. I wanted to be like the Sweet Inspiration, sound like them. And I was at sound check, and I walked off the stage, and someone told me that Whitney had died, and I said, "Stop lying. I'm tired of you guys spreading rumors on her." I just would not receive it. And then I came back to the hotel, and I turned on the news, and there it was, and my heart broke. But I have to admit, the first person I thought about is my heart broke for Sissy. Because to lose a child, I mean, I'm a mother of four, and to lose a child, my heart broke for her mom, who I've seen over the years and have hugged her. I got a chance, you know, I've said, I loved you. I grew up wanting to be like you. I've also had a lot of occasions to pray with Whitney and with Bobby, you know, to grab their hands and say, listen, guys, something's got to change here. Unlike you, Sheryl, I never really thought it would come to this end. For some reason, I had a hope and a prayer that things would change, that they would mature, that they would turn around, that she would turn and see the errors of her ways.
We were all waiting for that. I mean, we were waiting for sparkle. The word had gotten around that she was happy, and we were waiting for that big hurrah.
That's what we wanted.
Is it difficult for people who are not in this world to understand the massive pressures? Now, I was talking before we came on about your Unsung special. When I look at all of those shows on TV One, and you always hear people talk about, we were going great, riding high, then all of a sudden drugs came into play, then the pressures, and then the people. That also plays such a mighty role in bringing somebody down. And she talked about those demons.
Yes, it does. And it is a demon, just like you said.
And it's hard, you know, the 80s. I remember when we were doing Dreamgirls, and you were there around that time too, when we were doing Dreamgirls, and they would invite you to those parties, and they would be these beautiful, incredible parties. Beautiful people, the best stuff. They would bring out these silver trays, and I'm not lying, because I write about it in my book. These silver trays beautifully piled high with cocaine,
bowls of cocaine.
I know, but see, I was scared.
Oh, it was
I came from the Church of God in Christ, and there was a fear of God. And I looked at that and I said, I don't want none of that. I don't think so.
But I think for the grace of God go a lot of us.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. We do.
And you know, Nippy, as we called her, had an illness, a sickness, and I think that's. And then that plus all the pressures of being
it's very difficult
in this
to
industry.
Do what we do. It's very, very, very difficult. And you know, I often shake my head because so many of us do succumb to that.
That's right.
There are not a lot of us that's running around scared. You know, and that's only I can only say I was scared. But the pressures of what we do, being an entertainer, being a wife, being a mother, the combination of all those things, it's hard. It's very difficult.
And it's a big business. And sometimes fame can be a witch. And you better spell it with a big B. And sometimes she is like a jealous, possessive man. And she's going to beat you up, smack you down, step on your self-esteem, and dare you to get back up.
That
you
sounds
think
like
everybody,
the devil.
it's the truth. You think everybody can have the strength to rise back up again? You think everybody can have the strength of a Natalie Cole
but Roland,
to fight it and come back?
That's what Charlie Wilson talked about as well.
Come on now.
What did our folks tell us? What did our mentors tell us? You show me your friends, I'll show you your future. And a lot of times we have so many people around us who are just yes people. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose the end to the club. They don't want you, so they'll do anything to make the star happy.
We've had lots of folks speculate on all kinds of different things, and I've made it clear on my Twitter page and Facebook page, I'm not having any of that. But how does it make you feel when people will suggest that, oh, Bobby, that's the villain, or
I don't believe it.
This was the villain, and when they begin to assign blame and to say this person was the reason why their life got out of control.
I was there at her birthday party when a little Bobby Brown, who was part of a little group called New Edition, came up to her and sang to her and confessed he had a crush on her. Next thing I know, I'm at their wedding reception. I see love. Now I know that people can speculate whatever they want, but I saw two people who genuinely loved each other.
But we all have a choice. We're all given a choice. We have the ability to choose. I kind of saw what you saw. I saw when they were at the CeCe Winans and BB Winans concert. I think that Bobby catches a lot of the blame.
Yes,
He is not totally at fault for what has happened, and I will stand up to anybody and say I do not blame him totally for what happened. I think it was a combination and choices that they both made
and they
that brought this on.
Together.
Now collectively, it was a big explosion. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Well, I'll say this. I think the most important thing going forward, you see all these young folks out here, and they want that life. The most important thing I think for them to understand is that as you're moving forward, it better be a circle of one. That is, you better have people, it's a tight circle to understand that you cannot succumb to those pressures. And I think about it. Dinah Washington was 39. Billie Holiday was 44. Whitney Houston was 48. And so we remember them through their music. But it's unfortunate we will not get to see them
Roland,
be 50, 60, 70, 80. Final comment before we go.
I think that the lesson that we also learn here is
learn
get your song out while you're living. All of these people looked at their God-given gifts and they used them, and we benefited from that. So what will we do? Will we look inside ourselves and find those God-given gifts and give them
and what happened with those gifts that made us feel so good, but obviously did not make them feel so good? We got to learn
She was
from
saving
them.
all her love for us.
I appreciate you sharing your thoughts regarding Whitney Houston. Thank you so very much. Sheryl Lee Ralph, Rolanda Watts, Deniece Williams, thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Good to be here.